Welcome back. Now let's cross over to Abuja studios where Linda is standing by with more stories. Hello, Linda.
Hello, Melinda. Now, it's life as usual in Mpape, a suburb of Abuja, the nation's capital, where markets and other activities are open for business. Residents appear to be oblivious of a lockdown order and social distancing directive by the government as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. Some of the inhabitants who spoke to our correspondent, however, expressed concerns about their living condition and its health complications.
Mpape, a shanty community, 10 minutes drive from the Abuja city centre. The slum has survived several demolition attempts by successive governments, with series of court cases between the FCT administration and residents on resettlement issues. Despite its proximity to the city, Mpape lacks infrastructural development, except for its growing human population and a corresponding rise in the number of shanties. Business is as usual in the Mpape district, despite the lockdown directive by the federal government. Residents here express concerns about their living conditions, especially with the rise in COVID-19 cases to over 300 as at April the 12th, 2020.
Because the living here, we choke ourselves, is not good, of a truth. We are not living well, and the condition of things here, even houses, is close together. Dirtiness is too much.
Sanitation is there, and the crowd of houses is also there. We need governments to come and help us in feeding and in medicine.
Give us anything, not to give the right name.
But for some others, the challenge is different. While the dirty environment poses a challenge to their health on the one hand, many have lost their source of livelihood.
We dey inside, hungry, they kill us. And heat again, NEPA, they no gree give us light.
See, what they say, no money to even buy them. Maybe people even see money ban, and they say, now my husband there with 4 children. So my children no working, no go outside. We dey hungry. I bet make government to help us.
One of the recommendations of the World Health Organization in containing the spread of COVID-19 is social distancing. This advice appears to be taken for granted in the suburbs. It remains to be seen if government will ensure full compliance of its directive in areas like this in the coming days.
The Northern States Governors Forum have held an emergency meeting to discuss issues relating to the COVID-19 pandemic and how it is affecting the region, with a view to sharing experience and coming up with a coordinated response. The meeting, which was conducted via teleconference and chaired by the forum's chairman, Governor Simon Lalong of Plateau State, discussed various issues, including experience sharing on measures adopted by individual states to deal with the disease. After receiving reports from various states, the forum resolved to strengthen preventive measures against the pandemic through enhanced border controls and surveillance, as well as greater collaboration to ensure that there is synergy among them in the movement restriction. As the COVID-19 pandemic takes its toll on daily living, succor is coming the way of some residents of Ogun State as the immediate past governor, now senator, representing Ogun Central, Ibikunle Amosun, distributes food items to over 25,000 targeted beneficiaries. The stimulus packages include rice, gari, noodles and vegetable oil were distributed in Ado Odota local government area of the state to cushion the impact of a lockdown order.
As the challenges posed by the COVID-19 lockdown order bite harder for some residents of Ogun State, hope is on the way. These neatly packed food packages consist of rice, gari, vegetable oil, and noodles to be freely distributed to targeted beneficiaries. The benefactor is none other than the former governor of Ogun State and now a senator representing Ogun Central, Ibikunle Amosun, who personally oversees the distribution as the food items are stacked in vehicles headed to various locations in the state to be delivered to 25,000 beneficiaries.
Our plan is to target 25,000 households. And our targeted audience are the vulnerable ones, the elderly ones, and those that we believe that are really in need, most especially in this period of this COVID-19. And as a matter of fact, yes, our boss is from the senatorial district of Ogun Central, but he's not limiting himself to that senatorial district alone.
Some of the beneficiaries cannot hide their excitement as they commend the former governor's gesture.
It will be of help to my family because I have kids at home and they love noodles a lot. And we have rice here and there's groundnut oil here, so it will go a long way for us. My family will continue to pray for him.
I feel great and I feel good because it hasn't been easy during this lockdown. It hasn't been easy. We are not able to go to anywhere, but we thank Buhari for coming to our aid and for assisting us with this package, and we pray that God will continue to bless him.
The food items are meant to complement government's efforts at providing palliatives, especially for the needy, as the state and the entire nation battles the COVID-19 pandemic, with the hope that they would go a long way towards sustaining the recipients.
And that's all from Abuja. Back to you, Melinda.
Many thanks, Linda. President Muhammadu Buhari has signed the quarantine order at the State House Abuja after extending the lockdown order on Lagos, Ogun State, as well as the Federal Capital Territory. President Buhari confirmed this on his verified Twitter handle, saying additional regulations to provide clarity in respect of the control measures for the COVID-19 pandemic will be released soon. The president had earlier announced that palliative measures to cushion the impact of COVID-19 will also be extended. And for those who still have doubts about COVID-19, its global spread and incursion into the country, a survivor of the pandemic who has been narrating his ordeal and survival instinct is the Chief Medical Director of the University College Hospital, Ibadan, Professor Jesse Otegbayo. Although he's in the medical line, he would love to share his experience with everyone.
2 weeks before the test was carried out on me, I'm positive. I'd been on high dose of vitamin C because I knew that my job places me at a higher risk than an average person, and I was trying to take preventive measures. So 2 weeks even before that time, I'd been on vitamin C. And of course, my physicians who were taking care of me also asked me to take chloroquine. I did. I took some things that contain vitamin C essentially because of the antioxidant property, which sort of reduce inflammatory processes in the body. So essentially, those were the things I did. And of course, I took a lot of fluid just to make sure that I'm not dehydrated and wash off whatever can be washed off through the urine. So, and I rested, I did some exercises, and now the rest is history. There are several studies that have shown that vitamin C definitely helps reduce inflammatory processes. But it does not have antiviral property because it does not kill the virus or even reduce its capability to infect. What it does is that it reduces inflammation that the virus could cause, therefore reducing the possibility of disease and therefore symptoms. There's a difference between having the virus and manifesting the effects of the disease that the virus can cause. Yes, I had the infection, but I did not have the disease.
Another survivor is also sharing his experience. Lagos resident Mr. Kazeem Adedeji has tested negative to COVID-19 after undergoing treatment, but still has some concerns as his wife and mother-in-law remain in isolation. He speaks exclusively to our correspondent, Loretha Chiogo, on how he contracted the virus, life at the isolation center, and the battle against stigmatization.
Kazeem, a businessman based in London, had made trips to New York, then to Paris before arriving in Nigeria. 24 hours after his arrival, he's tested positive to COVID-19.
On the 21st of March, I started having headache. So I spoke to my wife, like, I don't know what's going on. Then my wife said, you know what, you can go and have this test done somewhere at Yaba, Naima. So they charge 30,000 naira. I got the results positive. Then we came up with what do we do? My wife said she had to call her work, which she did. Call our HOD, and our HOD make a call to Yaba that we should go straight to Yaba, so which we left that night for Yaba. On getting to Yaba, with the positive result, they were telling me they're not going to honor the result from Naima, saying I have to do another test with them, you know, and they're not going to conduct the test that night, so that they're not even going to do nothing, despite the fact that I have a positive result with me. So I was chased back. So I had to come back home, which happens to expose myself to the kids, my mate, mother-in-law and wife. It's very possible if they've attended to me on the first day I went to the center, my wife might not have it. It's very likely. Because right from my return, I've tried to be on my own. Just in my room by myself. She only brings food and all that.
Adedeji is worried about how the public is flouting the stay-at-home directive of the government. He warns of the danger.
Coming on live, talking to you guys now, is not something I want to do. But I have to do it to save others. Because this thing is real. I've been through it. And I know what it is. This thing is real. In fact, at that point, all the symptoms I was just having, apart from temperature, higher temperature, was same symptoms as having malaria. But a lot of things going, I believe it depends on how your body can take it. I have grown-up men shitting on themselves. Seriously, I feel like crying while talking to you right now.
After 17 days at the isolation center in Yaba, Adedeji is given a clean bill of health. But is there anything to worry about?
You meet different doctors. They do say different things. Yeah. But the one that gets stuck into my head is there's a very, very, very low percentage of having it again. It's very, very, very low. You know, it doesn't want to say you can't have it again. For me just to be careful, you know, it just said it's very, very low.
Adedeji says he has received a good news that his wife has tested negative to the virus after undergoing treatment for the first time. He awaits the final test result for his family to be back together again. Loretta Chiogo, Channels Television News.
An interesting story indeed. Now let's find out what's happening in the world of business. Anne is standing by.
Thank you, Melinda. Good evening and welcome to Business News. President Muhammadu Buhari has directed ministers in his cabinet to develop a joint comprehensive policy for Nigeria's economy to function with the effects of COVID-19. They include the Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Communication and Digital Economy, Science and Technology, Transportation, Aviation, Interior, Health, Works and Housing, Labor and Employment and Education. In a national broadcast on the extension of the 14-day lockdown order across Abuja, Lagos and Ogun states, the president says that this will ensure that the country's economy adapts to the new reality caused by the pandemic. The ministers will be supported by the Presidential Economic Advisory Council and the Economic Sustainability Committee in executing this mandate. The Central Bank of Nigeria has refuted reports made on social media that it charges fees on loan applications made by owners of small-scale businesses to cushion the effect of COVID-19. The financial markets regulator also advised in a statement explains that procedures for accessing the 50 billion naira targeted credit facility stimulus package dispersed through the Nisrael Microfinance Bank for households and micro, small and medium enterprises affected by the pandemic were clearly spelled out. The financial market regulator advises prospective applicants to approach Nisril Microfinance Bank or the nearest CBN branch for clarification on the procedure for accessing the bank's related loan and disregard any message requiring them to pay for processing their applications. African and European stock markets remain closed for the Easter break today, but market indexes in the United States and in Asia have ended today's session mostly lower. Investors are still weighing the coronavirus outlook while bracing for the start of corporate earnings season. Let's take a look at the closing numbers for today. And that's Business News Tonight. Thank you for watching. I'm Anne Nwawadu. News at 10 continues now with Melinda.
French President Emmanuel Macron has extended the country's lockdown measures until May the 11th. He says from mid-May, France will progressively reopen crèches and schools. This comes as Spain has decided to relax lockdown measures imposed to curb the spread of the coronavirus pandemic in the country, allowing people in the construction business to return to work to help boost the economy. This comes as more than 1.8 million people around the world have contracted the coronavirus and more than 117,000 died. And the main news again. President Muhammadu Buhari today extended the lockdown order on Lagos and Ogun states, as well as the Federal Capital Territory, for another 14 days. In a special broadcast, the president also directed the expansion of the social intervention register from 2.6 million to 3.6 million households. That's the news at 10 tonight. On behalf of the team, good night.